What if everything you've heard about cancer isn't actually true? I mean, really think about it for a second. We are completely surrounded by information from friends, family, and the internet, but some of the most common beliefs about this disease are actually deeply ingrained myths. And believing them? Well, it's not just wrong, it could be genuinely dangerous to your health. Today, we're exposing the 10 biggest cancer myths using real, hard science. By the end of this explainer, you're going to know exactly which beliefs to stop trusting and which facts could actually protect you. Does sugar really feed cancer? Can a simple biopsy make a tumor spread throughout your entire body? Is cancer always inherited? And the biggest question of all, is there a secret cure that doctors are hiding from us? These are massive questions, and if you've ever worried about your health or the health of someone you love, you need the truth. We are replacing fear with facts today, so let's jump right into the countdown. Let's kick things off with myth number 10. Cancer is always inherited. You might think to yourself, well, nobody in my family has ever had it, so I'm completely safe. Or maybe you think the exact opposite, that because it runs in your family, it's a guaranteed family curse. But the scientific reality is very different. While genetics definitely play a role, and certain rare mutations can be passed down, the vast majority of cancers are not inherited. They are mostly caused by genetic damage that builds up in your body over a long period of time. To really grasp this, think of your DNA like a massive, incredibly complex instruction manual for your cells. A mutation is literally just a random typo in that manual. Over a lifetime, things like sun exposure, certain chemicals, or honestly just the natural aging process cause these little typos to happen. When enough of the wrong typos build up in a single cell, it stops following the rules and starts multiplying out of control. So it's an accumulation of damage, not necessarily a family heirloom. This brings us to myth number 9. Cancer is contagious. Have you ever felt a tiny pang of worry sitting next to a sick friend, wondering if you could somehow catch what they have? Honestly, it's a surprisingly common fear. But here is the absolute fact. You cannot catch cancer like you catch a cold or the flu. It is entirely a mutation of your own internal cells, not an invading germ or a virus that jumps from person to person. You can be as close as you want to a loved one fighting this disease. The only thing they'll catch from you is your support. All right, moving to myth number 8. If it doesn't hurt, it isn't cancer. Guys, this is probably the most dangerous assumption on our entire list. We are trained from childhood to think pain equals a physical problem. But relying on pain to tell you if you're sick, that is a terrible strategy when it comes to this disease. Early-stage cancer is often completely silent. A tumor can grow for years without pressing on a nerve or causing any discomfort whatsoever. That is exactly why preventative screenings, like mammograms and colonoscopies, are the real lifesavers. They catch the silent disease before it ever has a chance to hurt you. Myth number 7 tackles a huge modern fear. Have you ever worried that carrying your phone in your pocket turns it into a little radiation zone? The rumor that mobile phones and Wi-Fi cause cancer is literally everywhere, but the medical evidence is crystal clear here. The type of radiation coming from our daily electronics is called non-ionizing radiation. This means it is fundamentally physically different from the harmful stuff you find in X-rays or the sun's UV rays. Now, what's super fascinating about this is the actual science of energy. Non-ionizing radiation is made up of low-energy waves. In the physics world, these waves literally lack the muscle to knock electrons out of atoms. In plain English, a Wi-Fi signal or a cell signal simply does not have the power to break your DNA and cause those typos we talked about earlier. The fear is massive, but the actual scientific risk, it just isn't there. Coming in at myth number 6, we have a dietary rumor that causes so much unnecessary stress. The idea that sugar exclusively feeds cancer. You've probably heard people say you need to completely starve your body of sugar to starve a tumor, right? Well, here is the reality. Cancer cells absolutely do love sugar, and they consume a lot of it because they grow so incredibly fast. But guess what? Your brain cells, your beating heart, every single healthy cell in your body relies on glucose, which is what sugar breaks down into, just as much. In fact, if you look at the science, there are exactly 0 ways to tell your body, hey, route this glucose only to my healthy cells and cut off the supply to the cancer. Your body just doesn't work like a complex routing switchboard. Yes, eating a healthy, balanced diet is absolutely crucial for your overall health, but agonizing over every single gram of sugar because you think you're directly feeding a tumor, that is a myth you can officially let go of today. And that obsession with perfect health diets leads us right into myth number 5, the assumption that healthy people don't get cancer. It is so tempting to believe that if you eat perfectly, run 5 miles a day, and never smoke, you are completely invincible. And while a healthy lifestyle drastically lowers your risk, it doesn't bring it to 0. Why?
because pure random chance and the simple act of aging are massive factors. Every time a cell divides as you get older, there is a tiny random chance of a typo happening. Perfectly healthy people can still get a diagnosis, and it is never their fault.
Next up is myth number 4, and this one genuinely terrifies a lot of patients. The myth is that poking a tumor with a biopsy needle causes the cancer to essentially explode and spread throughout the body. People literally delay life-saving diagnoses because they are so scared of this. But the truth is, a modern biopsy is a meticulously contained, highly safe medical procedure. Surgeons and oncologists use incredibly advanced techniques to make sure that taking a tiny sample does not scatter the disease. Think of a modern biopsy as a masterclass in containment. First, they target the tumor with pinpoint accuracy, usually using ultrasound or a CT scan. Second, the cells are extracted safely. And third, this is the most important part, the tissue is pulled back and trapped completely inside a specialized hollow needle before it is ever removed from the body. There is zero open exposure. The pathway is totally sealed. This gives doctors the exact blueprint of the enemy they are fighting, without spreading it anywhere. Which brings us to the closely related myth number 3, the completely unscientific old wives' tale that just opening a patient up and exposing cancer to air during surgery makes it more aggressive. It's wild that this still circulates. This is a dangerous misunderstanding of biology. Tumors don't behave like dandelion spores blowing in the wind just because they're exposed to the atmosphere of an operating room. Surgeons use extremely strict protocols, specialized tools, and precise margins to safely remove the mass. Surgery is very often the definitive cure for early-stage cancers, not the cause of their spread. We are nearing the top of our countdown, confronting myth number 2, the ultimate fear that cancer is always a death sentence. Decades ago, getting a diagnosis was undeniably much, much darker. But today, it is a completely different reality. Modern treatments are highly effective, deeply personalized, and far more precise than at any other point in human history. The most crucial takeaway here is that science is winning. Just think about the arsenal we have now. Advanced immunotherapies literally train your body's own immune system to hunt down and attack rogue cells. Targeted gene therapies act like microscopic smart bombs, seeking out the specific genetic mutation in a tumor while entirely ignoring your healthy cells. Because of monumental breakthroughs like these, there are tens of millions of survivors worldwide today living long, completely normal lives after their diagnosis. But that brings up a really fascinating paradox. Think about it. If survival rates are improving so dramatically and science is making such massive leaps forward, why do so many people still fundamentally believe that doctors are hiding a secret cure? This suspense, this deep-seated public distrust, leads us straight to the number 1 absolute biggest myth of our entire countdown. Myth number 1, there is one singular secret cure for cancer, and the medical establishment is hiding it for profit. It is the ultimate conspiracy theory, but it completely falls apart the exact second you understand one foundational scientific fact. Cancer is not a singular entity. It is not one disease. It is a broad umbrella term for hundreds of completely different, distinct diseases that all just happen to share one single trait: uncontrolled cell growth. Suggesting there is one hidden cure for all cancer is like suggesting there is one magic wrench that can fix a broken computer, a flat tire, and a leaking pipe all at exactly the same time. It is scientifically impossible. Just compare a blood cancer, like leukemia, to a skin cancer, like melanoma. They originate in completely different parts of the body, the bone marrow versus the melanocytes in your skin. Their biological mechanics are totally different, which means treating them has to be totally different. A blood cancer might require systemic chemotherapy to treat the whole body at once, whereas a skin cancer might just require a targeted surgical excision. Because the diseases are so vastly different on a cellular level, one single magic pill could never, ever cure them all. We've covered so much ground today, and the main takeaway is clear. This disease is surrounded by a massive fog of misinformation, but you don't have to navigate it in the dark. Understanding the science empowers you to make real, informed decisions for yourself and your loved ones, instead of just acting out of panic. So I leave you with this question. Will you let fear and old myths guide your health, or will you let evidence light the way? If you found this explainer helpful, please subscribe for more evidence-based videos where we take complex medical science and make it simple, clear, and actionable. Thanks so much for joining me, and stay curious.